Okay, picture this with me for a second. You're standing in a courtyard. It's dusk, and the walls around you are growing. Every month, they stand a little higher than they did the month before. And here's the strange part. You can't remember ever agreeing to that. One of those walls is the house you sleep in. Another one is that small card sitting in your pocket. And a third is the schooling that was meant to lift you up and somehow turned into a ceiling instead. And by now you've walked the whole courtyard, haven't you? You've run your hand along every stone, looking for a gap, some way through, and found none. So, at some point you just quietly decided, the way tired people decide things, that there isn't one. But see, that's the thing. There is, somewhere in that wall, there's a door, and it was promised to you, personally, by name. So stay with me here, because we're going to stand right in front of it, before the end. Let me be honest with you first, because you already feel this one in your chest. The name of the thing that has you walled in is Riba, interest. And here's the first cruel little detail, the part almost nobody tells you. That old word, ba, it doesn't mean debt. It means to increase, to swell, to grow. So the very thing that got sold to you as growth is the same thing now closing over your head. You borrowed a little to build a life, and somewhere along the way, the number learned how to build itself. And before we go one step further, I've got to warn you about something. Hidden underneath all of this, there's a kind of arithmetic that runs backward. I mean, the exact opposite of everything the world ever taught you about money. And when I finally show it to you, and I will, give me just a few minutes, you're not going to be able to unsee it. So picture someone for me. Maybe it's a friend of yours. Or maybe, if we're being honest here, it's you. They didn't do anything reckless. They took a loan for a roof, the way nearly everyone does. A little more for the car that carries them to work before the sun is up. No, a card, quietly, for the month that ran longer than the money did. And each choice, on its own, was reasonable, sensible, even responsible. And yet, 5 years on, they're running faster than they have ever run in their life. And somehow, standing in exactly the same place. They pay, and the wall doesn't come down. They pay again, and somehow it's taller. They do the sums late at night, and the sums just don't forgive them. And that's the particular loneliness of our Riba. It's not that you were lazy. It's that you're working, and the working isn't enough. And no one ever told you the ground beneath your feet was tilted from the start. You're not imagining the weight. The system really was built this way. So the question isn't whether you're strong enough to climb a wall that keeps rising, because, honestly, no one is. The question is whether there's a door, and whether someone told the truth about where it is. So now let me show you what might be the strangest sentence ever spoken about money. In the second chapter of the Courtyard, in the same breath as the warning, Allah says this, that he destroys RBF, and that he gives increase to charity. Just sit inside how backward that is for a second. That pile you guard with both hands, the interest, the swelling number you lie awake protecting. Allah says he is the one who wipes it away. And the thing you let go of, the money you give freely and expect nothing back for, see, that's the thing he himself causes to grow. And there it is. That's the backward arithmetic I promised you. In the world's math, what you keep grows, and what you give away shrinks. So you hold on, and you hold on tighter, and you call it being careful. But in Allah's math, it's the reverse. What you clutch is what evaporates. What you open your hand and release is what multiplies. And once you've seen it, you understand the wall was never truly made of money at all. It was built out of one belief, that holding on tightly is the same thing as being safe. And it never was. Now hear the warning that sits underneath all of it, and I'm asking you to hear it as mercy, not as a hammer. In that same passage, Allah draws a clean line. He permitted trade, honest exchange, real value given for real value, work traded for its worth, and he forbade Abba. Do you feel the difference he is pointing at? In honest trade, two people share a risk, and they can rise together or fall together. But in RBAP, one side is owed more, no matter what. The wall grows, whether your harvest came in or failed. So one of them is a partnership, and the other is really just a leash. And he forbade the leash, not to shame you and not to lay one more stone on a soul already bent under the load. He forbade it to protect you, because he knew, long before the banks did, that a debt which grows on its own becomes a wall that grows on its own, and no human soul was ever built to live walled in. So when the most merciful forbids a thing as gently as that, he isn't slamming a door in your face. He's telling you, quietly, that the door is somewhere else, that there is one at all. Which leaves the only question that still matters tonight. If there really is a door in this wall, okay, so what opens it? Because a promised door with no key is just a crueler kind of wall, and you have had more than enough of those. So here's the key, and it's smaller and stranger and gentler than you are bracing for. In the 65th chapter of the Courtyard, makes a promise, and he ties it to almost nothing. He says, whoever is mindful of Allah, whoever turns toward him and holds a little fear of him in the heart, he will make for that person a way out, a way out. Those are his words, not mine. And notice, he did not add any fine print. Just notice what the promise does not ask of you. It doesn't ask you to leap the wall in a single night. It doesn't ask you to be debt-free by morning, or clever, or lucky, or already halfway free. It asks for one thing, that you turn, that you stop facing the stone and turn to face the door. So the key was never a windfall. It was never the lottery number, or the raise, or the rich relative. No, the key is a direction. It's the quiet decision, made tonight, right there in that chair, that you are finished adding new walls. No new Riba that you are able to refuse, starting from this moment, however small the refusal. And then one honest plan to bring down what is already standing, one stone at a time, slower than you would ever choose. And then one act of charity, however little you think you can spare, to step into that backward arithmetic on purpose with your own two hands, and then give it time, more time than feels fair. The wall did not rise in a single night, and it will not fall in one, but every stone you refuse to add is a stone that is no longer growing against you. And then, in the dark, you make the oldest move a human being has ever made. You ask, you say it plainly, you promised a way out. I am turning toward it. Please, open it. And that is the door. It was there the whole time, hidden in the same breath as the warning, because the one who called RBA a wall is the very same one who promised the way through it. And he did not just whisper it once and leave you to wonder. He put it in writing, and he kept it there for 1400 years, so that on your heaviest night, you could hold the promise in your hand and read it back to him. So you are not trapped in a system with no exit. You never were. You are standing much closer than you think to a door you were quietly taught your whole life not to look for. So come back with me now to the courtyard where we began. The walls are still high tonight. I will not lie to you and tell you they have fallen. Mercy does not mean the stone is gone by morning. But look closely. There, running along the edge of the very wall you had already given up on, there's a thin seam of amber light. Because the door was promised by name, and a promise like that does not stay shut for the one who turns toward it. Maybe you don't walk through it this month, maybe not even the next. But tonight, you will stop pacing, because a person who has finally seen the door just doesn't live the way they lived when they believed in nothing but the wall. So walk gently. The way out is real, and it was written with your name in mind.